Hi, it's Michael Crummey, author of the runaway Polish bestseller Dostatek, which was named one of the best books of the year of 2013 by Gazeta Wyborcza and by Polish Radio Trójka. Hope I said some of that correctly. And I'm thrilled that my Polish publisher, Wind from the Sea, is doing another novel of mine, which in English was called The Wreckage. And I just wanted to say a few words about the book for you. I am in the White Hills again, and down below the White Hills, just on the edge of St. John's, is what's known as Pleasantville, which was the U.S. Army base and barracks during the Second World War. The U.S. had bases all over Newfoundland. It was a very strategic location because it was closer to Europe than any other part of North America. And the presence of the U.S. and Canadian armies in Newfoundland at that time changed the place completely. It was like the modern world arriving in Newfoundland for the first time in many ways. Up here in the White Hills, all of this land was controlled by the U.S. Army, and they built most of the roads and paths up here that I walk with the dogs. And they left behind all of these bunkers that were built to house munitions and other things which we've never been told about. And The Wreckage is a World War II novel, and part of it does concern how Newfoundland, and St. John's in particular, was changed by the presence of the U.S. and Canadian military in the city. But that's really just a small part, in my mind anyway, of what the book is about. Alright, everybody in. The Wreckage, for me, started with a family story about an uncle of mine. My dad's older brother, Hollis, went overseas during the Second World War. He signed up with the Canadian military and served in Europe. And before he shipped out of St. John's, he had a sweetheart here in town. And that's him there holding the fish. While he was overseas, his sweetheart, Annie Clark, was told mistakenly by the minister from the area where my dad's family was from that Hollis had been killed in action. And this minister had mistaken one Crummey for another. And Annie was devastated at the time, but of course she went on and got married and had a family. And it was only 50 years later, after her husband had died and she had raised her children, that she found out the truth of what had happened. And I had always thought of that as an amazing starting point for a novel. And that's kind of the setup that I had in my head when I began writing The Wreckage. It's a kind of twisted love story, I guess. And I hope you folks enjoy it.